Now, Democratic Senator Martin Heinrich of New Mexico. Senator, thanks very much for coming in. It's just happened like an hour or so ago. What's your reaction?
I think it was the right thing to do. This should have never happened, ever. As somebody who owns a few rangefinders, because I spend a lot of time hunting it in New Mexico, I can't even imagine walking into a presidential event with a rangefinder and not being stopped at some point.
He was on a roof about 150 yards or so from where the former president was getting ready to speak at this political rally. And apparently there were indications there was a suspicious man on the roof. There were indications of this rangefinder.
Right there.
And nobody did anything.
Right there, the former president should not have gone out on the stage. I mean, that's enough. Shut it down, figure out what the situation is, and then move forward once you have established security.
And they got to figure out why that didn't happen.
That's right.
Because that was clearly, if you have a suspicious individual on a roof not very far away from the political rally where the former president is about to speak, and you know there's a rangefinder there to determine all sorts of specific information, you go ahead and stop that. And you
Which is
put
why
a hold
we need to move forward with the entire investigation, right?
Who should lead the investigation?
We need to understand.
Is this a congressional investigation, an administration investigation?
I think both. It's appropriate for Congress to do oversight. It's also appropriate for the Secret Service, the remaining leadership there, to do an internal investigation, because it's their credibility that's on the line here, and we all have to have confidence in the Secret Service to do their job.
We're now told that President Biden will return to Washington later today from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where he's been recuperating after testing positive for COVID, and he's now scheduled to address the nation, a television address tomorrow night. What would you like to hear from him?
This is somebody who, in the hardest of moments, has put country over his personal career. And I think he's just got an amazing story to tell. He's somebody who is both a very effective president, probably legislatively the most effective president in the last 80 years, but also he's just a good human being. And I want to hear what he has to say.
You were quick to endorse the Vice President Kamala Harris now that she's atop the ticket running for president as the Democrat. What would you like to hear from her?
Well, I think what's clear is that Kamala is in command. She took the existing infrastructure of the campaign and just ran with it from moment one. And that's what we need right now to unite Democratic voters. And I've actually never seen, in a presidential environment, I've never seen Democratic voters so united so quickly.
And so you think that's going to continue? What's your assessment, especially in your home state of New Mexico? How does it look?
It feels really good. You know, I was walking around my neighborhood and I saw a yard sign that someone had modified from 2020 to a 2024 Harris yard sign, and they wrote VP TBD. And I took a picture of it and I just put it on social media. It's gotten 96,000 likes. Like, people came together around her so quickly. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, Democratic voters just want to be confident that in 2025 we'll have an adult in the White House who will put country first.
What should she be looking for as she decides who's going to be her vice presidential running mate?
I think enthusiasm and a measure of youth, so that we can continue the momentum that she's already demonstrated. I mean, we have a nominee on the Republican side who falls asleep in trial, who falls asleep at the convention. I think she can create an incredible contrast, both in terms of energy, but also, like, this is a prosecutor versus a felon. This is a Hollywood script.
And you hear some of the blistering attacks against her from not only Trump, but from J.D. Vance, who's the vice presidential Republican nominee as well. When you hear that, you know her. I assume you've met with the vice president, and you've gotten to see her in action over the past 3.5 years. What's your assessment of her?
Well, they're scared. That's what's very clear. And, you know, I served with her on the Intelligence Committee.
When she was a senator from California.
When she was a senator, I watched her during the Russia investigation, and she is a consummate prosecutor. And I think that scares them to death. And I think she should run this campaign like she's prosecuting a case.
You know, clearly New Mexico is an important state, and obviously you represent New Mexico. What are the chances that she could carry New Mexico?
She will carry New Mexico.
You think so?
I feel very good about that. People came together around her incredibly quickly. You know, the vibe I got at home just 2 days ago was unanimous.
You know, it's hard to believe, but she's running for president of the United States now against a convicted felon.
Who'd have ever thought America would be here? But, like, if you're going to create a contrast and you're a prosecutor and the other side nominates a felon, I think that's an amazing story to tell.
We'll see what happens. Senator Martin Heinrich, thanks very much for coming in.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.